Thanks for tuning in to BTSN, the future of access entertainment. I'm Steb Montez. Thanks so much for joining us and checking this out today. We're lucky to have a special guest, Casual, Mighty Hieroglyphics Crew's joining us now. Casual, how are you?
Peace, how are you? I'm good.
Doing great. There's a lot of questions surrounding cryptocurrency right now. But before we even dive into that, I kind of want to talk a little bit about the legacy that Hieroglyphics has when it comes to not only self-contained, making dollars happen, basically, with Hiero. Always been a thing independently. So even back in '95 with starting the website and having your own own store online. It was one of the first, not only one of the first stores I remember as a young man, but also like definitely the first for hip hop. What has been the motivation for Hieroglyphics throughout the entire time to kind of stay on that cutting edge and use technology as a huge piece of what you wield?
It's really been our fan base, just to keep it real. The type of sound waves we put out since we first stepped into the music industry attracted a certain type of person, thinking people who were jet setting and technologically advanced. And actually, the registration of our first URL was done by a fan. And humbly surrendered to us like, yo, I build y'all a website. And we was like, websites? You know, it's 1995. We're like, let's look at what you're talking about. And he had it set up for us and was like, I just did this for you guys because he's still down with us to this day, by the way, brother named Stinky. And so shout out Stinky. Yeah, and so it was really our fan base who pushed us to stay technologically advanced and to set up different ways to interact on peer-to-peer basis before we even got into cryptocurrency, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and one of the things too, even another jump is crowdfunding, crowdsourcing, another thing that's driven by fan bases, and also finding innovative ways to do that. You yourself have done that with your music. What besides just the fans doing it, because it seems like you're very involved in this. This isn't something that you're taking passively. It's you're hands-on, and it seems like that's something that's been a huge part of your development as not just an artist, but also as someone who's thinking forward for investment-wise.
Definitely, I'm 100% hands-on with this project. We started the build of HIEROCoin in 2013, believe it or not, when convincing people about cryptocurrency was a lot harder than it is now. It was just a fork of Litecoin before ETH was even invented, you know what I'm saying? So we've been into this and it's been taking a lot, it's been a long learning process, and it's also just, I know I can't say the rest of the crew, I don't want to say they aren't in the crypto as much as I am, but there's always a thought leader amongst a collective and someone who is the person who's responsible for spearheading these ideas. And I just happen to be that person. As far as this is like my baby, my brainchild. It's branded with the group Hieroglyphics, our brand, but I'm all over this thing. I don't want to say like micromanaging, but since our we got like developers for hire. It's not necessarily one developer tied to this project, but my devs are wonderful. And when they turn their hands off, I'm sitting there looking like, okay, this got to happen. And so I got to fill the learning gap as well. And I've been spending time getting myself up to speed with all the back end terminology, like you said, and everything I would need to know to be able to stand in the place and talk to people and let them know about the project.
And that's a huge component of it there, the learning curve. I think for the average person looking at crypto and NFTs in the same space, because they're similar, but blockchain is a big part of it. It's all a different language to most folks. And I think especially to a lot of hip hop heads, it's a brand new concept. And I think to folks that aren't online all the time, and you said it earlier, your fan base kind of drove the tech to move forward, and it's doing so again here. But for a lot of folks, like even myself, I have a Coinbase account. I throw money at crypto. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing it because that's what is going on. I'm asking friends who do know what they're doing. So give us a little rundown, if you wouldn't mind, about just kind of how it all works. What is the foundation of cryptocurrency?
Word up. And allow me to try to explain it in the simplest terms. I'll throw out a lot of the technological terms. We could get to those later. But and if I was just explaining it like we chilling in the car, and I really want you to feel it, when you're dealing with Coinbase, you're going through any of those platforms that they give us to begin with cryptocurrency. When you're dealing with these exchanges that have wallets held on their exchange and they're set it up, make it really easy for us to get into crypto. We're not really dealing with what they call DeFi, or getting into the DeFi sector, or D apps, or, decentralization, which is the root of crypto. And so certain entities have came in and set up user-friendly platforms to allow the average person to get in. But when we're talking about like crowdfunding your own project, your ability to place, through crypto, because that's going to be the newest Kickstarter, as people will learn in Web3, we're going to be crowdfunding our projects through tokens that allow people to actually fund the project and then hold on to something in case the project moves on. You see that they also get another attachment to it. And so as we're moving in those directions, a lot of things transpire, and we start to really bring people into the DeFi sector by asking them to learn the protocols that allow them to interact with cryptocurrency without going through these central institutions. So if someone ever asks you, have you got a MetaMask account? That's one of the first questions they're really asking. Do you know how to interact with DeFi protocol? If it's not a MetaMask, it'll be a Trust wallet, because what these wallets do is the in-browser wallet will go in your browser and let you finally interact with DApps, which are decentralized applications, really smart contracts running like websites that you can do a lot of things with, trade, exchange, what have you. And so this is a step into the DeFi sector. Experience supporting this project will pull people into a section where the main allure for cryptocurrency, let's keep it 100, is all the games we've been hearing about, getting into a new market while it's young and being able to possibly create some generational wealth. Well, the real opportunities for that are actually, they're all over crypto, but when you're really finding the people who find these projects and they found them young, and you got to get them before they're on Coinbase and stuff like that. You see what I mean? And so you start to go into the DeFi sector to find project launches like the one we're doing, and others on platforms that they call, now I have to get a little technical, which they call ILO platforms. And this one is for an initial liquidity offering, which is different than a ICO, which a lot of people have heard of, which is an initial coin offering. The initial liquidity offering has a better smart contract in place that takes a lot of the quote unquote suspicion out, because in the ICO, the participants, the contributions go straight to the developer's wallet, and then it's on the developer to do what he says he's going to do. And the ILO, it actually is held on the contract, and then the contract would form a liquidity pool or for a trading pair between the new token and the contributed token. And so these are why we're taking the route we're doing the ILO.
Yeah, to set up that, well, you mentioned it before, decentralization, with DAO or DAO. It's the Decentralized Autonomous Organization, just essentially setting up the platform where that kind of runs on its own in the background, essentially. Once you guys have it all set up, there's a lot of people that are going to want to jump in and be involved. Hieroglyphics.com, that's the place to go for sure. The pre-sale's live right now. There's a ton of information on the site from the roadmap and how to buy bar. What would you suggest for folks that want to jump in, though, and want a little more understanding? What's going to be the easiest way for people who want to learn, who want to jump in and be involved, but also want to educate themselves, as they're doing so?
The easiest way to jump in and get involved would be, there are instructions on hieroglyphics, but I'll just detail one. Trust Wallet is one of a user-friendly application that allow you to interact with these DApp applications. You're going to have to get the currency of the Binance Smart Chain, which is called BNB. If people are not familiar with BNB, it's the third leading cryptocurrency on the market. And when we start talking about chains, I could give you a quick breakdown. The smart chain is like a freeway, and the tokens that we create are like the cars that run on the freeway. So our token runs on the Binance Smart Chain. In order to commute on this freeway, there's something called gas fees, so to speak. Each process is a transaction, and these transactions make you incur gas fees. And so I like to give that little analogy to help people understand the difference between a token and a coin as well. The coin is actually the freeway. They got their own blockchain, and the car is a token that can run on top of it. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. I know you got a lot going on right now, and you have your hands full with this project, but I'm sure plenty more as well. Again, hieroglyphics.com, that's the place to check it out. Casual, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Peace.
Peace. Make sure you stay tuned to BTSN. We are running an equity crowdfunding campaign right now. You can be a part of it, the future of access entertainment, through WeFunder. Once again, Casual, thanks so much. For BTSN, I'm Steb Montez. Talk soon.